Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. It is the blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest man on social media, signing black in and shining again, asking you to hit that share button for one major reason above the rest, and that is that the message is more important than the messenger. Let me go ahead and clear this up right quick. Before some of you niggas get started, and I'm using that word for a reason, not because I like calling people niggas, but when you're dumb, that's the word that fits. I'm not going to tell you that Miko was innocent. I believe that Miko was guilty. I'm just a man with an opinion, and it is a guess. He has a prior conviction. People in Sosua knew that something was wrong with him, but I don't have the proof. This is just a guess. I'm not the one that's going to judge, and if I had to judge, I would try to do it fairly so as to avoid convicting someone of something they did not do. I'm talking about something beyond Miko, and that is the black community's proclivity to blame the innocent while exonerating the guilty. Let me give you an example. The evidence is that Michael Jackson liked kids, but he was not buggering kids. He liked kids in an innocent way. He was not into doing stuff to them that they can't get over. You know what I mean? I just can't say it. I don't think that he was, in actuality, guilty of what they said. Other people said he was not. The problem is that we, as a community ourselves, were quick to believe it. Now, we would not have believed this about Michael Jackson back when he was a brown-skinned brother. But now, when he had that wig on and he was pale as all get out, we were ready to believe it. And I understand that to a certain extent. I get it, but the thing is, there was evidence that he was not into this, and Oprah went after him. Now, we came out and said, wait a minute, hold up, no, stop this mess. Why do we say that? Because not only was he dead, and not only was he supposed to be her friend when he was alive, but the evidence, most of us now know that there was evidence that he did not do it. He was investigated, and he beat the charges because of, I forgot the word, exculpatory evidence. But in the beginning, we were like, yeah, that nigga did it. Oh, weird, sick self. Now, there was another thing too. If we take R. Kelly, and see, when it was Michael Jackson, a lot of sisters said, yeah, he did it. He was into it. A lot of brothers and sisters alike went on saying that he did it at first. But when it was R. Kelly, a lot of brothers said, that nigga's sick. He married a 15-year-old when he was 30-something. And faked like she was 18 in front of, on some kind of record, I think. This nigga's sick. And when this happened, sisters were looking at us like, age ain't nothing but a number, and you just mad because you ain't him. That's what we heard. We are a community that will take a man who is kind to children, but because women ain't into him, we'll say he's a child molester. We will take a man who is somehow good with animals, with pets, but women ain't into him. He's into he's a bestial, a bestophile, theriophile. We'll take a man who is good with people in general, just women don't like him, but he got a lot of friends. So right off the bat, he's into other guys. And I'm counting homosexuality as a sexual deviancy because I have to. I'm a Muslim. It's nothing personal. But the point is that we will turn around and blame someone. We will accuse somebody of being some sort of deviant without much evidence, and then when someone actually is somehow twisted, we will let the daggle defend them. The matriarchs and the matriarchs and the gynocrats will defend them, and many of us will let them do so instead of saying, hold up, this is the evidence against this dude. Now, when there's no evidence and it's speculation, I understand why we would all give the benefit of the doubt. But when there is evidence against someone, that's when we start saying, wait, we should say to even our own mothers and our sisters, something's wrong with this nigga. Don't make him a hero. But we do exactly that. We let them make these folks a hero until it just can't be ignored anymore. Now, Harvey Weinstein got sentenced to 23 years. He may get out on appeal. He may not. I don't know. Apparently his health is failing. The point is that this witch hunt is not even going to spare him. We thought it was, and it's not. He got a sentence heavier than Bill Cosby's. That threw me for a loop. Anyway, the point is that we as a community are too quick. Now, if the white community wants to go on a witch hunt, although they're actually going after at least people with some kind of accusation against them, we don't want to go on a witch hunt for people with no evidence. We don't want to do that, especially if there's a scope. But there's something else. Here's the thing. You cannot, I'm talking to you, Super Sly, you cannot allow the second worst woman in the world to determine who you're willing to accuse of some sort of sick sexual deviancy. Why do I say second worst? I'm talking about the Western black woman. The worst, of course, is the Becky and Amber that taught her this stuff before she went back home to her zaddy, Mr. Charlie, and said, I'll stay at home with the kids. You just take care of the bills. And then when it was time to go back to work, she said, well, if I'm going back to work, I'm taking your money with me. And then bent them over in divorce court and raped them. Yeah, they'll do it too. That's where Sapphire and that's where Sapphire and Boom Shika learned it from. Matter of fact, they made it to where Boom Shika and Sapphire didn't even have to do all of that. They just live with you, have your baby. And, I do say, hey, man, why are you making these babies? But, birth control is more available to women than it is to dudes anyway. For dudes, it's condoms and vasectomies. And we already know. You a black man and you had a vasectomy. And the minute the women find out, you ain't getting no draws no more. Because they're going to punish you because you didn't let them trap you. That's what it's all about, really. And I know because a South African man told me that about his own country. He said, if the women there think you've had a vasectomy, they won't even look at you because they can't trap you. I was like, The guy he was telling, the guy to whom he was telling this, I looked at this guy to see his face and he was like, bingo, that's what I thought would happen. Now, we are a community that will sit up here and we will take women's reaction, the second worst woman in the world's reaction to men. And these women only approve of very few men to begin with. And yet and still, we're letting them determine which men we will accuse of sexual deviancies without any evidence other than the women don't like him. You don't see him with no women. I'm gonna call this what it is. That's like letting the Ku Klux Klan determine for you who is a good black man or a good black woman. That's what that's like. It's like letting them determine for you who is a bad black person that you shouldn't follow. Oh, but that's right. It may not be the Klan we let make these determinations for us, but it's a lot of white establishments that we let make these determinations for us. We're a bunch of goddamn fools, and let's just be honest about it. I'm going to tell you now, this is one of the reasons that I said that repatriation is going to be one of the elements by which we need to implement this discrimination based on IQ. I'm going to say that straight off the bat. And if we do migrate to other countries and we see some of these dumb niggas that have that mentality, maybe we should go ahead and turn them into the authorities. I myself am just tired. I'm tired of seeing what you have to go through if you're still back in the United States or maybe even the UK. Those of you that have not yet left, I'm tired on your behalf. Now, in my real life, I could drop my identification as black and walk off on my own. I can't walk into other communities like I belong to their people, but I could walk off on my own if I wanted, but I don't. I can't do that. I'm not capable. Because the way I see it, black folks were the victims. And I'm not willing to turn my back on victims when they're trying to pick themselves up. But what I'm seeing is that right now it's brothers that are split between really self-repairing and continuing to be the stereotypical niggas that Sapphire wants us to be based on what white folks think we are. And what I'm seeing is that very few black women are into that self-repair. And those who are, well, they're already taken, so I can't sit up here and tell you that we're going to find them. Somebody already found them, as far as that's concerned. At the end of the day, we are a community that is quick to point the blame at the innocent and slow to blame the guilty when there's evidence, when the signs are there. And one of the ways from here on out, one of the ways I'm going to know which black man is actually not guilty and which black person is actually guilty of some sort of sexual deviancy is based on you niggas' presumption of their guilt. If you niggas presume they're guilty, especially if it's just because, only because you don't see them with no women, I'm going to assume that they're not guilty. If there's other evidence, then I'm going to assume that they are. But I'm sorry. The Western system is so bad of a person in general. That's why I say, in general. I know what you're thinking. They can't all be that way. See, yeah, I said in general. The Western system is so bad in general that, number one, only the slave master's wife or daughters exceeds her in evil. And they do it very sneakily, so we don't know that. But she is so bad of a person that in actuality, if they don't like a particular man, that should be evidence of his upright character. Not that something is wrong with him and that he's not some man. That's the truth of the matter. Putting bass in your voice and flipping over tables because someone tells you that she's acting up and she has driven you away between her misbehavior and the legal system that favors her, pretty much giving you no option except to either live an unnatural lifestyle for which they would call you gay anyway, or get your passports and bounce to some better greener pasture, is a sign that you're actually a goddamn idiot. I don't necessarily like it when people come to me and tell me things I didn't want to do with a high-pitched voice. I wouldn't necessarily obey them, but I wouldn't obey them if they said it in a heavy voice either, and that's something I didn't want to do, unless it was for the greater good. Even I have that particular bias, but nigga. The fact is that if someone is talking about a particular set of facts and statistics, you can't use the octave of their voice to discredit them, and you cannot use the fact that you don't see them making porno flicks for your amusement to say that they're a failure with women. I hope that one day the things I've said won't be true anymore. But in the meantime, I hope it somehow helps, although I really doubt. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, but the black community in America especially is too quick to accuse people of sexual deviancy without evidence. This time, I think a lot of them got it right this time when it comes to Miko. But I'm afraid about the next time that somebody's just accused of something like this and they didn't do it because these ignorant, hating ass niggas back stateside that wanted us to stay on the plantation are going around spreading bad information. That's what bothers me about it. I'm glad I didn't put my name and my face out there, because some of them niggas, if they knew who I was, they would come and they would contact every single Gulf Nations police force and say, yeah, so-and-so, y'all need to look into him. He was grabbing little kids' booties and stuff over here back stateside when he was here, and just ruin everything for me, even though I don't do stuff like that. Because the worst thing that can happen, I'm going to tell you this, if I lose everything based on something like that, the worst thing that can happen is that I get sent back to the United States. That's the worst that can happen. Because when they ask me which city I want to be dropped off in, I'm going to tell them your city. And then at that point, I'm not going to prison for murder. That's all I'm going to tell you. Thanks for listening. And I mean that from the bottom of my black heart. Assalamu alaikum and black male power, because they don't like it.